So now the database is ready. So what we see is the RDS, Relational Database Services, a service which has been created using AWS platform. Now, how do we connect this database? As a system DBA or as a database person, the ideal process of creation of database was have a server ready, download the software, get that license, install it on the machine. Once installation is done, then create the database and then log in as a SQL DBA. But a developer, they need to talk to the database using a SQL developer or a client software. In the same way, this instance needs to be connected in two ways, either using a server EC2 instance or using a client software. AWS recommends to use a client software because we would rather be creating the database using AWS services, and those database needs to be accessed by the application purpose. So let's have the SQL developer client software installed in the system. Once it is installed, we would be opening that. This is the Oracle SQL developer. If in case we had a MySQL database created, we could have downloaded the MySQL DBA software developer. So we'll just be creating a new connection and write the name AWS RDS. The username that we used was admin. The password was capital ADMIN 123. Localhost. This is to be initially, or rather when we are using an on-premise database, the local host is replaced by the target host. The target host is where the database is hosted on. So instead of getting a target host here, we are rather going to get endpoint. Endpoint act as a public IP addresses. So we would rather be changing it. Port number 1521, SID would be changed with ORCL. We'll test the connection. And the connection is success. We'll just connect it. And here we go. Database has been connected. It will take some time to load. We'll wait for the output. So here we see database is connected. Let's run a query and see whether we are able to run it or not. And that's the query. Okay, and just run it. And here we get the output. Database is up and running successfully. The way we create a database on AWS is perfect. So let's understand some basics of the information that we are getting here. What we are going to get here is the endpoint through which we are going to connect to the database. 1521 is the port number, default VPC. The subnet, it is being used, all three. It has been created on 6th. The certificate authority that AWS would be providing for this database is March 6th, 2020, which is more than sufficient for any of the business to work if you're creating in 2018. So that's pretty much about relational database as a services. Now, the interesting fact is we have OEM, Oracle Enterprise Manager, which monitors my database in real time, or in on-premise infrastructure. We have CloudWatch in AWS, which is monitoring or doing the same activity. We have the privilege to configure